Hello students, in my previous video I had elaborately explained about job analysis. In this video I shall be explaining the process of job analysis. For this I have divided my video into two parts, part 1 and part 2. In the first part I shall be dealing with the first and the second step of job analysis, and in the later one I shall be discussing the third and the final step of job analysis. Now, as we know that job analysis is a complex process and is divided into basically 4 steps. The first step is determination of uses of job analysis. As discussed earlier, job analysis is a process of identifying the nature of job, and it basically gives two outcomes. What is the job description, that is it describes everything about the job, and the second outcome is the job specification, where we try to determine the qualities, the qualifications, the experience, the skill set of the job holder who would be doing the job. Now, initially the job analysis process, when the organizations were not that complex and there was not much competition, the job analysis process or the information gathered from the process of job analysis was used for recruitment and selection. But when the complexity of managing the human resource increased, the scope of the uses of job analysis also increased, covering many areas such as organizational design, acquisition of personnel, human resource development, job evaluation and compensation, performance appraisal, safety and health, and employee counseling. I shall be explaining the uses of job analysis in a separate video. Once the organization determines the uses of job analysis, we go to the second step, which is strategic choices in job analysis. That means what are the strategic decisions which needs to be taken while conducting the process of job analysis. Basically, it is divided into again 4 sub processes. Number 1 is the extent of employee involvement in job analysis. Number 2 is the level of details of the analysis. Number 3, timing and frequency of the analysis. And number 4, past oriented versus future oriented job analysis. The first strategic decision is regarding employee involvement. Job analysis, as we know, is a collection of various job related information, and these information is collected from various sources including the job holder. That means एक particular job के बारे में अगर हमें information collect करना है तो we have to also collect the information from the person who is actually doing the job, or persons who are doing that job, that is the job holder. Now, the question remains that whether a job holder should be involved in the process, as they may lead to tend to inflate or exaggerate the duties and responsibilities of his job and make the make his job appear to be very important. That means, if I am doing a particular job, I am the job holder, and if the management asks me about my job, what I am doing, how much time does it take to complete a job, what are the duties, responsibilities, what are the methods required, what are the technology system procedure involved in doing the job, then there can be a tendency that I might exaggerate or I might inflate the responsibilities and the duties about my job, so that the management thinks that no, this person, that is I am doing a very important job. The second condition is that what if the organization does not involve the job holder? Now, in this case, if the organization does not involve the job holder who is actually doing the job, then what happens is the job holder becomes suspicious. He thinks that the information is being collected about my job. I am doing that job, but the management is not considering my opinion or my views, or not taking information from me about my own job. So he might become, dissatisfied, he might be demotivated, and he might become anxious, and that can lead to stressful conditions. Now, in order to do that, what does an organization need to do? An organization must take certain positive actions to overcome the employees' dissatisfaction, uncertainty, and anxiety. At the same time, the organization should also involve the other people who are directly or indirectly involved with the job. For example, the superior or the supervisor of the job holder, or he can also take the information from those who are directly or indirectly related to the job, to that same job. Now, after this, we come to the second sub process, or the strategic choice, that is the level of details. So the organization should also specify the level of details of job analysis. In determining the level of details in job analysis, two factors must be considered. The first is the objective and the uses of job analysis that will determine to a great extent the level of details. For example, suppose if the information is required about the information from the particular job is required for future recruitment and selection, or for the performance appraisal of that employee, then obviously the information has to be collected in much more details than if suppose it is for the safety and health of the employee, or for employee counseling. Similarly, the second factor is the nature of the job that is being analyzed will also determine the level of details required in job analysis. For example, if job analysis is to be done for an operator, now the job of an operator is very much repetitive, does not require much of decision making, and it is requires limited responsibilities and very fewer details. So for that, the level of details required will be less. Whereas for a managerial role, if I have to take the information for a managerial role, which is much more dynamic, which is non-repetitive, and which requires more details, because if for every situation the manager must be taking different decisions. Okay, so for that the level of details has to be more. Now, the third strategic choice which needs to be taken is regarding the timing and the frequency of job analysis. So basically, a job analysis is conducted in the following circumstances. Number one, जब कोई organization, when an organization is newly established and the job analysis is initiated for the first time, पहली बार organization establish हो रहा है, so therefore all the jobs needs to be analyzed. So that is the first criteria when we need to conduct job analysis. Second situation is when the organization is already established, but suppose a new job is created. For that also we would require job analysis. The third situation is when the job is changed significantly because of change in technology, system, procedure, methods, etc. Apart from this, the other situations may be when, say for example, the organization initiates restructuring or job rationalization, or if the employee or the manager feels that there exists certain inequities between the job demand and the remuneration. That means if the employee feels that I am not being compensated adequately for the job that I am doing for the organization. That means if my job is very important but I am not being remunerated to that extent, then also job analysis can be taken up. The fourth and the last strategic choice, that is the fourth step of the strategic decision making in the second process of the second step of job analysis, is past oriented versus future oriented. So generally job analysis is based on the existing job and context of their performance. However, this traditional approach of job analysis is not workable in this fast changing environment. So suppose if I have done a job analysis 5-7 years ago, then carrying that forward and thinking that it is applicable in today's changing environment, that is not correct. So therefore, there needs to be a future-oriented job analysis in which the analysis is based on the likely changes in the nature of the job requirement. Such an analysis allows the organization to initiate the process of acquiring and developing employee in advance. So in today's video, I had discussed the first and the second step elaborately. In my next video, I shall be dealing with the third and the last or the final step of job analysis. Thank you.